Evening everyone, I'm CV Sharma back with another video. In the previous videos, I have completed the topics on the uh, units and dimensions as well as vectors and scalars. I gave some little bit of introductions where you can understand what are the concepts within that. And using that previous concepts, we are going to see the kinematics. The first part of the kinematics is the straight line motion or motion in one dimension or rectilinear motion. These are the ways you can call. And in this one, I am going to show you the notes as well as I will explain the topics one by one. So this is the part one of kinematics, motion in a straight line. So this is what we are seeing now. So by the way, I'll go through the methods and then I'll spend time at the problems. That's what I do. And here the notes straight away, you can pause the video and then make a note of it. So what is motion? Basically, a body in motion keeps changing its position with respect to its surroundings with the passage of time. That is called motion. So if the surroundings position is changing with respect to the body, you can say it is motion. If the body does not change its position with respect to time, it is said to be at rest. So with the surroundings and with the time, if there is a change, then you would say that the body is moving. In fact, you can think of a movement of a train. You will see that the trees are going backward. So that is called motion. So the position of this object is changing with respect to time. So when you have that situation, then you will say that it is moving. The object is moving. And next concept is called the frame of reference. So what is frame of reference? Is set of coordinates x, y, z and t is said to be a frame of reference. Okay. Frame of reference may be inertial or non-inertial. Inertial frame of reference is one which is either fixed or moves with a uniform velocity in same straight line. So that is what the inertial frame of reference. Inertial frame of reference is one which is either fixed or moves with a uniform velocity in the same straight line. That is called inertial frame. There is another thing is called non-inertial or accelerated frame of reference, which has an acceleration. Newton's laws are valid only in the inertial frame of reference. These are some of the important points which you have to make a note. So the discussions of frames of reference, it will come later while discussing the problems. I will discuss more about these things. So basically, an inertial frame is called a frame which is static, and you can have the frame moving with a constant velocity or uniform velocity. Then you would say that it is an inertial frame. A non-inertial frame is something which is accelerating. That is called accelerated frame of reference. A problem what we face is the Newton's laws of motion will fall apart in the non-inertial frame of reference, and in the inertial frame of reference, Newton's laws are hold good. So Newton's laws hold good in the inertial frame. That we'll see later. So don't worry about this one. Want to make a note of this one. I will discuss this part later. So let us move on to what is this one-dimensional motion. So if a particle changes its position only in one direction, in one of the direction, that is either x or y or z, only one of these directions if you consider, if the movement is pertaining to only one of this direction with respect to time, if it is changing with respect to time in only one of these directions, then you would say that the motion is said to be one dimensional. You would say the motion is said to be one dimensional. Since the particle moves along a straight line, the motion may be also termed as linear or rectilinear motion. So it is a straight line motion, so you can term it as linear or rectilinear motion. So now next concept is distance. So what is distance? Distance is the actual path length covered by the moving particle or a body in a given time interval. So what is this path length we'll discuss? So distance is actually, you would say it is path length. So that is called distance. Okay, distance is equal to path length. Now this is the idea. Okay, we will explain with the help of a modulus function in mathematics. What is this modulus function? We'll discuss that modulus function in mathematics using that property. We can define the distance that is called path length. Okay. And now let us move on to the, I'll explain that when it comes to the problems, I'll explain that. So the displacement, that is next part. The displacement, the shortest distance between the initial and the final position of the particle is called displacement. And speed. Speed is the time rate of change of distance is called speed. Rate of change of distance is called speed. So that is dx by dt. So velocity is given by dx by dt. So in fact, if I write x bar, that is called a vector. So velocity vector, what we are writing. So x bar is the displacement vector. And now speed. So velocity I was telling about, the speed is the, you can say that it is distance divided by time. That is, speed is distance divided by time. And then velocity is displacement divided by time. And now the speed, because distance is a scalar quantity, speed is also a scalar quantity. So what I want to tell is rate. Rate means you divide a quantity with the time. That is called rate. Divide any quantity with the time. With the time. That is called rate. In general, that is called rate. So when we talk about rate, it is actually the change. What is the change occurring with respect to time? In general, that is it. So there are different ways we call in different scenarios we call this rate in a different. What is the rate of change of area with respect to length? If I say that, suppose they ask you what is the rate of change of area with respect to length, that is also rate. But the thing is, what we are talking about is rate of change of area with respect to time divided by rate of change of length with respect to time. This is the kind of scenario we're talking about. So rate of change of area with respect to length, if I talk about rate of change of area with respect to time divided by rate of change of length with respect to time. So these are the different ways we'll tell the rate. In general, rate refers to you take any quantity and divide it with the time, that is called rate. So remember this is very important. So if I say rate of change of some quantity, let us say velocity. So if I say rate of change of velocity, that is nothing but dv by dt, derivative of velocity with respect to time. So that is nothing but acceleration. So I hope that the students who are viewing this lecture, they are well versed with the derivatives and integrals. With that idea, I'm going ahead. And please give a comment if you are not through with that derivatives integrals. That part I will discuss later. There is one basic mathematics required for physics, that slides I am having. So that slides I will explain. If some student is unable to follow what is the derivative or something, you can always contact me. And you can write your things in the comments. And also please do subscribe and then share among with your friends this particular videos. So next, what is speed and then velocity? I told you velocity is dx bar by dt. Velocity is a vector. Time rate of change of displacement is called velocity. So the next one is what is displacement? Basically, displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and final position of the particle. Okay. So we'll do some problems based on this. The next one. What is acceleration? The time rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. So a bar dv bar by dt. So meter second power minus 2 is the unit. And again, velocity is having meter second inverse, and then speed is also having the same units. But velocity is a vector, speed is a scalar. So the acceleration, uniform velocity is the situation where dx by dt remains constant, and variable velocity is dx by dt is not a constant. So that so the definitions are spoken over here. You can see if dx by dt is constant throughout the motion and direction of motion does not vary throughout, and thus such a velocity is called uniform velocity. And if dx by dt is not constant but varies varies differently at different intervals of time, or dx by dt is constant, but the direction or both may vary. So if there is, this is also very important, the magnitude to have the acceleration. So this is the point I wish to make. This is a very important point. So acceleration, this is the point. Acceleration can happen even though the magnitude of velocity does not change. If direction of velocity changes, direction of velocity changes, So my English may be wrong or something, but I want to convey this idea. Acceleration can happen even though the magnitude of velocity does not change. And if the direction, even though the magnitude of velocity, magnitude means value of velocity may not change. But if at all the direction of velocity changes, you have acceleration. So even though the magnitude of velocity is not changing, suppose let us say, for example, how do you explain this? So let us say I have 5 cap initially. The velocity vector is given by 5 cap. So it is moving x direction. So the modulus of velocity is 5 meters second inverse. So let us say this one, 5 meters second inverse. And suddenly after some certain time t, the velocity vector has changed to 5 j cap. So if I write 5 j cap meter second inverse, the modulus of velocity is only 5. Okay, I hope you are getting. But the thing is that it has changed from x direction to y direction 90 degrees. So like this it has changed, 5 I cap to 5 j cap it has changed. Yes, there is acceleration. There is a magnitude of velocity has not changed, but there is a change in direction. So in that cases, we'll write the acceleration as 5 j cap. This is the final velocity minus initial velocity divided by 5 minus 5 I cap divided by what time it took to get the change. So that is delta t. So this is how you can write. So just an idea. So the acceleration is nothing but delta v by delta t. So that is change in velocity divided by the time interval. So that is what it is. Fine. Now, what is instantaneous speed? So we move on to the next part. What is instantaneous speed? Instantaneous speed and velocity. The velocity at a particular instant of time is called instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous speed is given by limit delta L and delta t tends to 0, delta s by delta t, which is nothing but ds by dt, and delta r by delta t for v bar. What is the vector r bar? R bar is a vector which can be written as xi cap. In general, it is written like this: xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. So it is nothing but the displacement in x direction plus displacement in y direction plus displacement in z direction. It's a vector. R bar is a vector. It's called a displacement vector. And the derivative of displacement vector with respect to time will give the change, will give you the velocity in all the direction: vx I cap plus vy j cap plus vz k cap. So when you do that, when you take the derivative on either side, this is what you are going to get. So this is the very fundamental ideas. Okay, while solving the problems, we'll use this content, and at that time you will all understand this. How do we use that? Now let's move on. So average speed and average velocity. This is the next part. So what is the average speed and average velocity? The average speed of a particle in a given interval of time is defined as the ratio of the distance traveled to the time taken, while the average velocity is defined as the ratio of the displacement to the time taken. So you can say that is like the average velocity is actually net displacement It's a very powerful statement. Net displacement divided by the total time delta t. That is average velocity. So what is this net displacement? There is a huge difference when we start the projectile motion. At that time, I will tell you what is this net displacement. You will understand. You will maybe surprised even how this simple equation will help us to solve many problems. This is a very beautiful equation, I tell you, in physics. And now this is the average speed. Average speed is nothing but the path length divided by total path length divided by total time. As simple as that. Average velocity is the net displacement divided by the time interval. Net displacement divided by time interval. Now you may not get this, but we are talking about the straight line motion only, no? We are talking about only one dimensional straight line motion. So it may be along a single vector also, that it may be along the motion, maybe along a single vector. So that is also one dimension, but anyway, you will get to know about that later. So that we'll see later. And now, so that V average is net displacement or total displacement covered divided by total time. So this is how we do. So next one is average velocity at the different cases is the problem we'll solve. And one question of this kind we'll solve, and we'll halt with this video at this point. We'll stop the video at this point. And now it is like problems. So it's like a problem solving session. You'll all understand. I'll ensure that you'll all understand. So this is the first problem. So particles covering different displacement in different times. Okay. So assume that a particle covers S1 displacement in the time t1 and S2 in the time t2, so on. Then the average velocity is given by S1 plus S2 plus S3, so on, divided by t1 plus t2 plus t3. But what they told was at each displacement was covered with a different velocity. So I can write t1 as S1 by V1 and t2 as S2 by V2. Like this, we can give the substitution and this will be the final formula. Now there exists a special case. What if I consider the two displacements and S1 equal to S2 is equal to S, when you keep, then you get 2S divided by S by V1 plus S by V2, and you get 2V1 V2 by V1 plus V2, which is called harmonic mean. I explain this, what is the situation. S1 equal to S2 is equal to S means what? I'll explain this in this. I will explain this on the whiteboard, and then we'll close this lecture here at this part. And now let us say this happens to be like a particle is moving in a straight line, let us say. Okay. And now the scenario is that what we are discussing is, suppose there are 2 points A and B. A is the initial point, B is final point. And this one, let us say, there is a point C in between A and B, and the distance AC is S and distance BC is also S. That means C is the midpoint. So we're talking about C, it's a midpoint. C is the midpoint. And now it so happened that from A to C, the particle has traveled with the velocity V1. And from C to B, the particle has traveled with the velocity V2. Let us say this has happened. And now we have to find the average velocity. So what is this average velocity? How do we do this average velocity? How do we do this average velocity? So V average is given by total displacement. That is nothing but it traveled from this point to this point and from this point to this point. That is the net displacement is S1 plus S2 divided by T1 plus T2. What is S1? That is S. And S2 is also S because both the displacements are same. Divided by T1. What is T1? It has traveled with the velocity V1. And so it is S. The displacement S divided by V1 gives my T1. And similarly, T2 is nothing but displacement divided by velocity V2. So let us substitute that S by V1 plus S by V2. So this is what we'll do. S plus S is 2S divided by, so we can take S as common, you get 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2. It's very, very simple. And now S gets cancelled out, and then you pick up the LCM and the denominator. So V average happens to be 2 divided by, so when you pick up the average, this becomes V1 plus V2 divided by V1, V2. So this is what you are going to do. So V average happens to be this V1, V2, you couple the fraction, and then you get 2 V1, V2 by V1 plus V2. This is the answer. So it's about the situation is traveling equal distances in a straight line with different velocity without the change of direction, without any change in direction. So under these conditions, without any change in the direction, okay, under these conditions only you get 2 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2. This is the average velocity. Of course, average speed is also same because there is no direction change. So when you consider this particular thing, A to B, so this is the midpoint C, A to C, it went with the speed V1, and this is the distance yes it has covered, and from C to B there is no direction change at all. So under these conditions you can write the average speed. Average speed happens to be 2 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2. The same answer you are going to get if there is no change in the direction. So V average, velocity average is also 2 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2. You can assume that velocity and speed both have the same magnitude. So we'll understand this later. 2 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2. So this is the condition where there is no change in the direction of velocity, where there is no change in the direction of velocity. So this is the thing I want to tell you. This is where we end this first video on the motion in a straight line, and then next video continues. I will discuss the displacement, distance, and speed and velocity problems in that particular video. And we'll have in that video, the second video will have a problem solving session. And thank you all. Thanks for watching the video. Please do subscribe and share this channel among your friends. And thank you all. Thanks for watching the video.